We were looking for something new to do, and we decided, let's go back and do the most exciting, audacious thing that we had ever dreamt of, which is giving people access to the funds that they need to receive care. So Healthbridge was born out of that concept.
So welcome back, everyone, to the MISHRM Resource Partner videocast. We appreciate you being back here with us. Once again, I'm your host, Greg Coyne with Jerry Weinberg and Associates Sandler Training. And today's guest, we have a special one. It is Amy O'Meara Chambers, the COO and co-founder of Healthbridge. Amy, thanks for being here with us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
And so what we do for those that might be a first-time viewer of our show, we bring in resource partners and experts within the HR community to give advice as well as kind of an understanding of the world around them. What are some things that they can bring into their areas of expertise to help them grow their businesses? And so when I reached out to Amy, I was like, this is a great fit because she's got a multitude of hats. She's an attorney, she is an entrepreneur, and she's had a lot of experience in the benefits and wellness community. And so I think my first question for you, Amy, is this. I mean, of all the things that you could have started, what brought you to Healthbridge? Why did you and your other co-founder get Healthbridge started, and how?
Yeah, sure. Well, the story kind of starts 30 years ago. So coming out of undergrad, I was a healthcare underwriter in Philadelphia. In fact, I didn't even know what an underwriter was. I thought they gave me a job as an undertaker. So I learned the insides of health insurance, and then I decided to go back to law school. So I've been in insurance technically for 30 years, 25 years as an attorney, and I specialized in employee benefits. 25 years as an EB attorney then led me down a very interesting path. I wound up for 10 years working inside of Priority Health. So Priority Health is the second largest payer in Michigan. I started actually in the legal department and then quickly got pulled over to the business side of the house when all the high deductible health plan regulations started rolling out, and I ran product development. So I designed and built all the high deductible health plans. And I have to tell you, I quickly realized as I was designing and selling and marketing and talking knee to knee with our members that these high deductibles would be a problem to all of the healthcare stakeholders at some point. I met people who absolutely could not figure out how they were going to manage and pay for their healthcare. I talked to providers who were saying, now I have to collect how much, and when are you going to help me do that? And even on the payer side, we recognized that this was a game changer. And now this is 15 years ago. Fast forward to about 5 years ago, my co-founder and I had just launched another company and sold it. And we were looking for something new to do. And we decided, let's go back and do the most exciting, audacious thing that we had ever dreamt of, which is giving people access to the funds that they need to receive care. So Healthbridge was born out of that concept. And the whole idea behind Healthbridge is we're the first of its kind employee benefit that works with health plans to help people manage and pay all those pesky out-of-pockets, the co-payments, co-insurances, and deductibles. So we are passionate about helping people get access to excellent and affordable healthcare. And you know what? It's all about the money. And that's where we come in.
I love it. I say, and it is about that. And a question that just kind of threw into my head based on what you just said was the fact of, the healthcare landscape is ever changing. I mean, it is nonstop. So many players in it. And I would ask this, you talked about it. There's 30 years of experience in understanding this world. What is the thing that people need to be aware of with regards to that ever-changing world? What is it right now, especially in today's day and age, I would say even the last 12 months?
Particularly in this time of COVID, never have we shone such a bright light on the crisis that we have in America when it comes to the affordability of healthcare. So we know that the average out-of-pocket's about $8,000, and the average American has about $400 in their pocket. And that creates the problem. And we know that about 2/3 of all people skip or delay care. And so many of these plans, these health plans that are getting rolled out, make people feel like they're functionally uninsured, like they're afraid to get care. So that is a truism, and never has it been so true as in the last really 12 to 24 months. There are all kinds of studies that are coming out right now about the double impact of COVID and financial insecurity on people having a crisis when it comes to being able to afford their health care. I think the last statistic was 43% of all people, this is coming out of Kaiser Family Foundation, which is very trustworthy. They're saying 43% of all people are worried about being able to finance their health care in the next year.
Jeez, that's insane.
Yeah.
And I would say, wow, I mean, financial insecurity is a huge issue for a lot of people, and the ability to get that access to healthcare, I mean, it's huge. So you've started to implement or talk about the fact of, being able to get it. Why don't we ask this question? How does Healthbridge, for someone that is brand new to trying to figure that out, how does Healthbridge come into play?
Yeah, so we know what the issue is. The majority of plans that are being rolled out today to employees and their family members have some kind of a deductible. And the statistic that I gave you about the average American having $400, that really impacts the way people access care. The other thing I should note is, and not a lot of people know this, but 87% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck.
Jeez.
So I have talked to a lot of individuals who say, well, I'm not sure if all my employees really have that issue. And it's like, yeah, they do. People just don't talk about it. Most people show up to work worried about money. So first you start off with these higher deductibles, and I would argue that anything that has an out-of-pocket that's higher than $400 puts somebody in the lurch.
Jeez.
So what we have designed is a program that sits right next to the health plan out-of-pocket. We perfectly complement those programs. We integrate with the health plan payer, and as soon as somebody has a claim, they know immediately after they adjudicate that claim how much that person owes, what's their copayment, coinsurance, or deductible. So what we do is we will take that claim and we pay the provider on their behalf, regardless of creditworthiness. So they're all paid off with the provider. That's super important because a lot of people won't go in for follow-up care because they don't want to be met at the front desk with the, Mrs. Chambers, you owe us $800. How are you going to pay that today?
Yeah.
And then what we do is, because we've paid off all those balances after insurance, we line them all up. We send out a bill once a month. It feels a lot like a credit card. And we give them consumer protective terms. So let's say 24 months at 0%. We give them a 10% quick pay discount if they polish off their balance. But the whole idea is we're giving people the time and the room to pay. People can pay and they want to pay their medical bills. The problem is when you get 6 different bills from 6 different providers, you can't pay them all at once. And that's how you get yourself in trouble. So what we do is we pay them off, we roll them up, and there's no gotchas in this program at all. And then we just spread them out over timely payments. And it's amazing how people are able to afford health care. We want people to get the right care at the right time. So it's really about, I'll just put a pin in this and say, we made it an employee benefit because you have to talk about this stuff during open enrollment, before people are in the middle of a medical crisis. So the reason that we designed this as an employee benefit is we thought it was meaningful to explain how you're going to pay at the same time that you're talking about what you're going to pay. And being a benefits designer, because that's what my entire career has kind of been around, and maybe, for a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But I've always thought that this is the way we should provide healthcare financial security. We should do it as a benefit that's guaranteed issue, that everybody gets, that you don't have to apply for, nobody gets turned down. It's super important when it comes to healthcare equity.
Love it. My God. And here's the thing too, at the end of the day, Amy, I mean, this is an exhausting process. You're talking about people that are financially insecure. They need the healthcare that they have. How do you continue to bring the passion each and every day to help run a company like this?
Oh, well, yeah. Well, this is my life stream. Everything that I've ever done has led up to Healthbridge. And I would say the same of the people I've surrounded myself with. We're 50 employees at this point, and we always jokingly say that we're the oldest average age startup team in America. But it's taken people who have given their entire careers over to healthcare to kind of come together to create this. So we were all operators in various aspects. You know, some of us designed plans, some of us were on the provider side. We've got legal, we've got operations, but everybody has brought their talents together. And I should note that when we created this program, one of the really important things that was part of our design is we wanted to make sure that all boats would rise. So by that I mean, yes, there's this member in the middle, or the patient or your employee. We put them at the center. But we've also made sure that our program benefits providers. You know, providers don't like to collect. They don't like to have money as part of the conversation when they're trying to heal you. So we help them when we pay them immediately. You know, it takes the average provider, most people don't know this, about 6 months to collect 40 cents on the dollar, and it's prohibitively expensive. So we help them. We also help the health insurers because they don't want people skipping care, because when people skip care, it ultimately comes back as 3 times more expensive. So that whether it's an insurer or those employers. So the employers are paying on average about $20,000 a year for family premium. That is a lot. And when they don't get the most out of those health plans because people are skipping care or they're feeling like they're functionally uninsured, you know, it's not doing them any service to have these plans. And it's supposed to be a benefit and not a liability. So when we created this program, we said all boats would have to rise. So we really pride ourselves having everybody around the table saying, what's in it for each one of the stakeholders and making sure that there's always a great value proposition.
Well, I love it. And I love that you brought Healthbridge to Michigan. So let me ask, I mean, you talked about it earlier. You're originally from Philadelphia and, you know, how did you and your co-founder decide, hey, you know what, Grand Rapids seems like a great spot to put our stake in the ground and start Healthbridge? I mean, how did you get to there?
Well, I've been in Grand Rapids for 22 years. I've been in Michigan almost as long as I was in Philadelphia. So I kept coming out to the Midwest for school. So first University of Chicago and then to University of Michigan for law school. And I met my husband there and the rest is kind of history. But we decided to move over to this side of the state. And it's been, I would say it's a great place to start a business. There's a lot of great healthcare here. And it's affordable when it comes to startups. You know, you want to make sure that you can get affordable talent. And it's also a very welcoming community. It's a great healthcare community. So we've gotten a lot of great partners.
I love it. That's awesome. And we need more of businesses like yours, Amy, to be able to keep this this economy going and to be able to provide for healthcare for all. So here's a question for you. There's a lot of other companies out there that'll claim to, oh, we're different than Healthbridge. We do things differently. So let me ask, how is Healthbridge, outside of what you just said, different from other companies?
Well, I always say we're the first of its kind employee benefit. So the fact that we've wrapped this up into an accessible employee benefit automatically makes us different. But I would say, since the listeners are in the benefits space and HR space, they know that there's a whole category of benefits that are kind of rising, and they're around financial security. And in particular, financial security around healthcare. Why? Because money is the #1 social determinant of health, and how employees show up every day is their job one. So the fact that we are taking on this financial security benefit category head on by saying it's not just about educating people, because there's a lot of I love these startups. There's a lot of people who want to educate people on how to save money for healthcare. But
Right.
you know what? I'm too old for that. It's like we got to put our money where our mouth is. People need access to money today. And that's where we're radically different. And we've done it in a very systematic way that reduces healthcare costs. And I won't go into all those details, but that was very important to us. So that makes us different. It's not onerous or laborious on the healthcare system. And I truly believe that this is the design going forward as to how people are going to access and afford healthcare.
I love it. I love
You
it.
got the makings of it.
Well, I say you got to start somewhere, right? So This is great. And as an entrepreneur, it's incredible to hear this stuff and hear the passion and see it for that matter. So before we wrap up, one of the things I want to ask Amy is, how do people reach out to you? How do they get in touch with Healthbridge? How do they potentially bring it into their fold?
Sure. Oh, we would love that. So myhealthbridge.com is our website, and you can always go through the contact us. That's easy. And the other way is I welcome everybody to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Awesome. So it's Amy O'Meara Chambers, probably a JD after that. But yes, I would welcome all kinds of connections, and that's another great way for us to connect.
I love it. I heard it all yesterday at a conference I was at. Get on LinkedIn, use it as a connecting point, and you used it today. So I appreciate it. And Amy, I appreciate your time for being on. This is an awesome interview, and I think there's a lot of information that people they may have thought that they knew, but when you start to bring statistics and data into the equation, it's mind blowing. And the fact that you're able to help people get affordable care is awesome. So I really appreciate your time and your energy and your passion today for all of us. And without further ado, I want to thank all of our viewers of today's video cast. Thank you again for being a part of MISHRM Resource Partners video cast. Again, I am Greg Coyne, the host, and until next time, have a great one, everyone. Thanks and take care.